Welcome everyone to tonight's storytelling session. Today I'm going to share with you a completely true ghost story. This story was shared by Nga, a friend who told me about her mother's terrifying memories from years ago. It's a chilling tale of what her mother and younger sister experienced during their difficult times living in poverty. Nga mentioned that even after decades, her mother could never forget what happened in that abandoned house. Over 30 years ago, Nga's family was very poor. Her mother, a young woman with 2 small children, had no choice but to live in a small house built on a piece of abandoned land in Jong Nai, right behind a sawmill. To save money, Nga's mother chose this place despite the rumors of strange, unclean entities haunting the area. Initially, everything seemed fine, but just a month after moving in, strange events began to unfold. Every night, when the family was asleep, Nga's mother would hear laughter echoing through the night or someone calling her name. "Nga! Nga! Come out and play hide and seek." At first, she thought it was just neighbors playing pranks, but the midnight knocking on the door made her realize something more sinister was happening. One night, there was loud banging on the door. Trying to stay calm, she thought someone might need help. But when she opened the door, there was nothing but the cold night air. Above the old tamarind tree in front of the house, the leaves shook violently, even though there was no wind. She tried to convince herself it was just her imagination. The next night, things took a horrifying turn. As she lay in bed with her infant sleeping by the wall, she suddenly saw a demonic head appear right before her. The head was twice the size of a human's, with long white hair, black hollow eyes, and sharp pointed fangs. It floated in front of her, and a chilling voice spoke. "Leave. If you don't, I'll take your child." Paralyzed with fear, she couldn't move or scream. She closed her eyes tightly and prayed until the demonic head disappeared. The next morning, she hurried to offer incense and food to appease the spirits. She hoped this would end the haunting, but it didn't. The following night, her infant disappeared. Terrified, she searched everywhere, even under the old tamarind tree, but found nothing. A ghostly laughter and voice echoed, "Leave. If you don't, I'll take your child forever." The voice led her back inside. As she approached the old wooden wardrobe in the corner, she heard faint crying. Opening it, she froze in shock. Her child was curled up inside, smiling at her. Clutching her child tightly, she stayed awake all night, trembling in fear, waiting for morning. The next day, she sought help from neighbors. They urged her to leave immediately, warning that the demonic head might take her child for real. That same day, she moved out and never returned to the house. Even now, Nga's mother shivers at the memory of that night. Do you believe in the supernatural? Or was it all just her imagination? Every time someone mentions ghosts, I always remember the terrifying story that Juk, my childhood friend, once told me. It happened during a sweltering summer when a group of kids in the neighborhood gathered to play games. Juk was timid, but to prove his bravery, he joined a game called Ghost Can, which the neighborhood kids were eager to play. When he retold the story to me, his eyes were filled with fear, as if the memory still haunted him. That evening, Dong, the oldest kid in the group, suggested gathering at the soccer field at the end of the village to play Ghost Can. He claimed it was a game older kids had played, and if you're brave, you'll see real ghosts. Initially, Juk didn't want to join, but after being teased as a coward, he reluctantly agreed. At 8 p.m., the group of 5, Dong, Tuan, Hong, Nam, and Juk, gathered at the soccer field. Dong brought everything they needed: an empty soda can, 3 incense sticks, 2 candles, a bowl of rice, candies, and a cigarette. The location was an abandoned house nearby, rumored by the villagers to have strange occurrences. But the kids paid no mind. Upon arriving, they set up the offerings in the middle of the abandoned house. Dung, with a confident demeanor, sat in the center, holding a piece of paper with a chant, and began reading aloud. "Spirit, where are you? Wanderer of the night, come here tonight. We have rice, incense, and candles to light your way. We have snacks, drinks, and gifts for you. Come and play with us. From the realms of life and death, we summon you to join our game. Spirits of the heavens and earth, ghosts and shadows, come forth." After the chant, Dong lit the cigarette and placed it in the bowl of rice. The group sat silently, eyes fixed on the thin wisp of smoke curling upwards. A minute passed and nothing happened. Then the cigarette burned brighter, as if someone invisible was puffing on it. Jock started trembling but tried to stay calm. Suddenly, a metallic clink echoed. The can began to roll slowly, as though pushed by an unseen force. Jock froze in place. Hung laughed nervously and said, "It's just the wind, nothing to be scared of." But before he could finish, the candles extinguished, plunging the house into darkness. Jock later described that the ghostly figure appeared in that haunting silence. A foul stench filled the air, and from the dark corner of the house, a long-haired figure crawled toward them. Duke described that as the figure crawled closer, its face became clearer, a pale, ghostly white with empty, lifeless eyes. The air grew colder, and the figure's raspy voice echoed, "You called me, and now I'm here to play." In utter panic, Dung screamed, "Break the rice bowl! Blow out the incense now!" He began reciting a desperate chant to send the spirit away. "Spirit, return to the underworld. Let peace reign once more. The fire burns out. The incense fades. Leave us and go back to your realm. Mortals bow before you, bidding you farewell." But as the last words were spoken, the door to the abandoned house slammed shut with a deafening force. An unseen energy knocked over the bowl of rice. The can began to spin in a circle, emitting a sharp, eerie noise. "Run! Run now!" Dung shouted. The group abandoned everything and sprinted out of the house like frightened animals. But as they reached the door, Juke heard a chilling voice calling his name. "You think you can escape me?" Turning back instinctively, Juke saw the tall, ghostly figure crawling on the ground, chasing them. After that night, the group was haunted in their own ways, but Juke suffered the most. He revealed that every night when the lights went out, he could hear eerie laughter. Sometimes he felt as if something crawled onto his bed, whispering in his ear, "I've come to play with you." Juck's mother found him curled up on his bed one night, his eyes wide open, trembling with fear. After hearing his story, she sought help from a shaman. The shaman, after hearing what had happened, sighed and said, "The kids have done something foolish, summoning spirits they shouldn't disturb." Following the shaman's instructions, the group prepared an offering to appease the spirit. The offerings included a boiled chicken, a bowl of rice mixed with salt, a bowl of clean water, fruits, candies, a bottle of white wine, 3 large incense sticks, a small bundle of incense, and a new can with some coins inside. The shaman led them back to the abandoned house, urging them not to look back after the ritual. The offerings were arranged, incense was lit, and the shaman began to chant, "Spirit, return to the underworld, restoring peace to this realm. With rice, water, and wine, we offer our sincerest apologies. Let no harm linger here, and may the gates of the spirit world close behind you." After the ritual, the shaman instructed them to scatter the rice and salt around the house and never return. As they left, they heard a faint sigh as if something had been released. For the first time in days, Juke felt peace. From Juke's story, I learned to respect the unseen. Some things are better left untouched. Do you believe in spirits? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to follow the channel for more stories like this. Sleep tight